No reconciliation at any cost. William showed a tough stance and harshly rejected Harry. Hello and a very warm welcome to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel. Is it possible that the king's cancer diagnosis is going to lead the royals to set aside the fights that have torn the family apart and finally unite, having seen the bigger picture of life and death? Well, okay, it's a touching idea that the prodigal son, Prince Harry, would show up, however briefly, in London to see his father. Although we certainly hope that Harry was not wired for sound, and that the genuine expressions from the king on how much he has missed his darling boy do not show up on any future Netflix documentaries. After all, Harry certainly does have a history when it comes to airing the family's dirty laundry in public. Now, his tell-all memoir includes details of a very depressing solemn event, the funeral of Prince Philip. We agreed to meet a few hours after the funeral. I got there first. I looked around, saw no one. I checked my phone. No texts, no voicemails. And then Harry goes into a riff about what horrible people his living blood relatives really are. But while understanding Charles's decision, I cannot deny that when I heard that Prince William didn't have any plans to meet with Harry, my reaction was, all right then, I'm glad somebody's got some sense. Now, personally, I don't see how anybody couldn't be fans of Prince William and his gorgeous wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. They are impeccably dressed, they're intelligent, they have a lot of empathy for other people, they truly care about making the world a better place. The truth is, publicly, neither William nor Catherine have ever put a foot wrong. Prince Harry, on the other hand, we cannot say the same about him. He claims that he's a feminist, but just think about the things he said about his stepmother. He said maybe she'd be less dangerous if she was happy. I mean, it's hard to picture Camilla vamping some poor soul, complete with a feather boa, but that's how Harry paints her. And Harry also went after his father, made fun of him in Spare. Apparently, the king is a bit too generous with the eau sauvage, and Harry claims that he carries around a pitiful teddy bear everywhere he goes. So that's why I have to side with William on this issue. Even though I could see the point of the thoughtful essay by Alexander Larman this week, my opinion is that the family we choose for ourselves should win out in the loyalty stakes if there has been an insult towards a perfectly good spouse by a horrible sibling. In Spare, what becomes obvious is how little the public really knew about William and Harry's relationship in the first place. We always thought the brothers were so close growing up, but Harry claims that William didn't want anything to do with him when they were in school. And I can see his point. I mean, it's not like Harry was a really nice, pleasant person to be around when he was a child, or today for that matter either. Harry apparently is so resentful and so angry because his brother dared to be born first. And it doesn't seem like Harry understands that William also suffered incredible loss when their mother died. And William was uncomfortably aware from childhood that his job in life was going to become king. So if Harry is upset at the minor level of responsibility that he had, how would he have dealt with William's? Harry tries his best to make his brother look bad in Spare, but it only made me like him more. Well refreshed on the evening before his wedding, William insists on going out into the big crowds outside of Buckingham Palace to say thank you and shake people's hands, in spite of the warnings of his security team and also Harry's reservations. And what a beautiful marriage William's marriage to Catherine turned out to be. I mean, he waited 10 years to marry Kate Middleton. He knew good and well that the pressure and the scrutiny of the position of royal wife is not easy. Prince Harry, though, I guess he had an easy time, relatively speaking, getting Meghan Markle to marry him. Harry is not incredibly handsome like his brother. He's not intelligent. He's not witty. So it's fair to say that his rank gave him access to a wide range of women who would have been inaccessible otherwise. And Harry still made the worst choice ever in choosing his wife. So this situation between William and Harry really opens a greater debate about whether we should let bygones be bygones. To make a mistake is certainly human, and to forgive is certainly divine. But when feuds are so much fun, I mean, who could blame some of us for enjoying this feud and maybe wanting William to refuse to bury the hatchet? After all, let's remember, Diana herself very much had a slash and burn attitude towards friendship. But this only made me love her more, really. It was even more proof that Diana was not some malleable virgin who could be told what to do. So Diana had a falling out with Fergie after accusing the Duchess of giving her a verruca, and with Elton John over the usual garbage. Two divas falling out over who knows what. Now, personally, I like my friends to be honest, and if that means they chew me out when I've done something to piss them off, well, all right then. Some people out there I know want a quiet, peaceful life at all costs. I'm not one of those people. I can't help but remember what F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote. I avoided writers very carefully because they can perpetuate trouble as no one else can. These are the writers who tend to be the good ones. Remember what Truman Capote said after selling out his swans for the sake of a good story and losing his whole friendship group overnight on the publication of the first installment of his unfinished novel Answered Prayers. He said, "What did they expect from me? I'm a writer." The truth is, we should not expect non-writers to understand, but my opinion is he made the right decision. Now, it is true that igniting feuds means that you're also going to get burned. You know what they say, when you begin a journey of revenge, start by digging two graves, one for your enemy and one for yourself. Well, that may be true, but that's not enough to dissuade many people from still igniting a feud. In the past, my friends have told me on more than one occasion, "Bev, sometimes your personality is a little too fiery." For example, with my first husband, we were embroiled in quite a few that lasted years, and even after he was willing to give up, I really wasn't. I wanted my point to be made, and I wanted him to feel the burn too. And I gotta admit that in my mission to get revenge on my ex-husband, I did get a little bit petty. The revenge became a little bit recreational, we could say. A mildly unpleasant act driven not really by passionate vengeance, but instead by a desire to annoy my ex at all costs. The king certainly has made the morally correct decision, but the prince has made the one that most humans would make. And I appreciate him for showing himself up as a sinner instead of a saint. But at some point in the future, I do sincerely hope that King William is going to extend the hand of friendship to Harry, even if only to pull it back at the very last second. In other news, according to a royal expert, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has disappeared. And the real reason why she's managed to get away with it is all because of her husband. In 1850, Alexander Dumas wrote that year's beach read, The Man in the Iron Mask. It was a dark, dark story about a mysterious prisoner, clamped in metal and shut away from the world. And somehow, folks, this week, so many people on the internet just decided that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is starring in the sequel. Where is she? This is what netizens on social media have been screaming at the top of their lungs this week. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but I believe this story is not going to be as interesting as people want it to be. Catherine has not had anything implanted into her body. She certainly hasn't had a Brazilian butt lift. And no, she's not wasting away from some eating disorder. She has not left her husband Prince William to go off on some kind of eat, pray, love quest to realign her chakra. And she's also not hiding from everybody so that she can grow out some not very well thought out blonde highlights. On Friday, we got a hint about what could be going on. First, though, let's take a moment to think about what a logistical feat it has been keeping her hidden so far. And now it's more than 2 months since Catherine has been seen in public, during which time Catherine managed to make it all the way from the Wales's country home in Norfolk to Windsor to a London hospital, and then back to Windsor, and then back to Norfolk, and then back to Windsor again, all without being seen once. And somehow, by some miracle, William managed to get Catherine out of the private clinic where she had undergone abdominal surgery in January, in spite of half the world's available TV cameras being stationed around the hospital. Interestingly enough, though, in the months since Catherine has been home, there has been a complete blackout of Catherine. It would have made a lot of sense if Kensington Palace had, once Catherine was feeling better, reverted to their pandemic model, reviving their old format of putting out some nice clips of her doing Zoom calls at home, having some neat ponytails and some bright sweaters. Doing this kind of video would, in the first place, give people the Catherine fix they are so desperate for. And it would also have prevented this week's crazy frenzy. But instead, the palace has decided to act like the Soviet Ministry of Information from 1964, so scared that the West is going to discover their real tractor production targets or corn yields. On the other hand, we got the approach of King Charles, who is undergoing treatment for cancer, and his Buckingham Palace outfit. He invited the cameras in to see him make small talk with the Prime Minister in February before their weekly audience, and then His Majesty's social media team made a lovely video of him reading some of the 7,000 get well cards and letters that he has received. So Buckingham Palace is doing a lot to reassure the public and to make sure that the king remains visible. So how can we understand the Wales's and Kensington Palace's self-imposed suppression order? Okay, so on Friday, Tom Sykes over at the Daily Beast spoke to a former royal staffer who still has friends and contacts inside of the palace. And this person said, the principal aim of her being sequestered is to guard her privacy. There is a really, really small bubble of people who know exactly what is going on. Well, there we have it. This is the key to everything: privacy. For the last 20 years, William has fought hard to achieve that which eluded his beloved mother Diana, Princess of Wales, and his father King Charles too: peace and quiet, space from the media and the prying eyes of the public. He wanted forever for there to be some kind of respect of boundaries. With marriage, with fatherhood, and with his own household and office, the Prince of Wales has worked tirelessly to build a life where he, Catherine, and their beloved children can enjoy some privacy. I mean, only 15 years ago it would have been unimaginable. Thanks to William, it really does look like the days of the bloodthirsty paps hunting Princess Diana are well and truly behind us. So the real reason we haven't seen Catherine lately is because of the hard-won gains that William has managed to achieve. Obviously, William wants to give his wife everything that he can. He wants to empower her to recuperate, and so she doesn't need any pressure to do a quick social media post. Is this the right choice? Well, that's another question altogether. But it seems like William's heart is ruling over his head. Now, this is not Dumas. Catherine may not be the woman in the iron mask, but could she be the woman in the hyaluronic face mask? I also doubt that. Instead, I believe right now Catherine needs privacy. She needs for the speculation to stop. And when she's ready, we're going to see her and she's going to look as beautiful as ever. And you, do you agree with these views in my video? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like it and share it with anybody else who would love it anytime you want. And please do subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.